I'm super excited to be here with you guys today. Like I said, I'm going to be doing some New Year's hair hacks. So I'm going to show you a curling iron technique that I love and use a lot behind the chair and on myself at home. So for those of you watching, if you are a stylist looking for simple techniques to use on your clients, and if you're somebody that's looking to do your own hair, maybe for a holiday party, I'm going to give you some great tips and ideas of what you can do from curling iron to putting the hair up as well. So as people are hopping on, I'm going to go ahead and get started and talk about the key foundations to putting hair up. When you're doing tips and tricks for hair, the biggest secret for your tips and tricks is the foundation of the hair, right? So I see a couple more people are on. Welcome, my name is Tasha Ostrander. I'm a advanced healing artist with Wanza, and I'm here today to teach you using the Wanza products, some little tips and tricks. So, like I talked about, the biggest key to doing hair for putting up or styling. A lot of people, when they style the hair, whether it be a client, some stylists that I've educated in the past said, I have a really hard time getting my hair to hold curl. My hair doesn't hold curl. And I tell them it should if you use the proper products. So just to give you a quick little rundown, this is my model Justice. Thank you for helping, AKA my daughter. So the pro about having a daughter is I always have a built-in model, right? If somebody doesn't want to do it, I say, well, too bad, so sad, you're gonna sit in the chair and do it. But she has the perfect, long, gorgeous hair for me to use, so why not, right? So when I prepped Justice, we washed her hair. She has natural, super, super curly hair. And knowing that I wanted to use her today smooth, I used the glossifying shampoo and conditioner, the smooth line on her, just to make that hair really sleek and easy for me to work with. When I blow dry Justice's hair, when you're working with hair that you know that you're gonna be curling or styling, we need to make sure that we have a really great foundation to the hair. So a lot of people, when they go to curl hair, say, you know what, my hair doesn't hold curl. And I ask them, what are you using in your hair? I need to make sure that I'm using something great from the shampoo and conditioner into what I'm blow drying into the hair to build a foundation. Styling hair, I explain it kind of like building a house, right? I need to build a foundation before I put up the walls, before I put up the roof, so the whole house stays in place. So glossifying shampoo and conditioner. Then you have two options to blow dry your clients to give them a little bit of hold, which are my two personal favorites when styling hair. That is either the design foam, okay, or I have the foundation mousse. Justice has extremely thick, coarse texture hair, so I need something that I know is going to give me a lot of hold to the hair, that I know when I blow dry it, it's going to instantly grip that texture and make it easy for me to use. So if I have somebody with a little bit finer hair, maybe their hair does hold curl pretty good, but I just want to help build volume and I don't need a ton of hold, I'm going to use, my design foam in that hair. Great to put in wet. I love to put this in dry. So if you have those customers who come into the salon, or maybe you wake up in the morning, you want to style your hair and you feel like you need a little bit more, I love to put the design foam in dried hair and blow dry it in just to give me that instant texture to the hair, okay? Justice's hair, I actually blow dried using the foundation mousse because I know this is going to give me a little bit more strength, a little bit more durability to the hair. So as I style it, it has more control to it. So starting with a good foundation, like I said, using the foundation mousse blow drying in her hair, that allowed me to give this beautiful sleek with a little bit of texture. When you're putting hair up or when you're styling hair, it's really, really, really important that the hair has texture to it. So the reason the hair doesn't hold curl, or the reason that the curl falls out, or when you're doing a formal style, you feel like you go to get it all up and it's just limp and it won't stay, is it needs pliant strength. Okay, pliant strength is that hold factor to the hair. So 0 being no hold at all, 10 being the firmest hold I can get from a product. The best level of hair to put up is about a 5-6. Okay, that middle range. So you can feel product, but it's still soft. And that's how Justice's hair feels today. So now that our hair is ready, I'm going to show you guys a really awesome curling iron technique that I absolutely love to do. I do this a lot on myself. I do this on clients behind the chair. This is a wonderful technique. So thank you all for hopping on. I can see a lot of you are on there. And thank you again. My name is Tasha Ostrander for those of you guys who are just joining. And I'm about ready to show you a really awesome curling technique. So when curling the hair, we just talked about the foundation, right? So putting that foundation mousse into the hair to give me hold. Now when I'm going to put a curling iron technique in the hair, I need a thermal protectant, but also something that is going to help hold the curl in. My favorite product that I use in the Lanza is my thermal defense spray. This is one of my favorite curling products because it gives me that hold, but it also gives me the flexibility to work throughout the hair and to move it around as well. So I'm going to split this into two sections, and Justice, if you don't mind, I'm going to have you just hold that iron for me down. So with this technique, this is a great technique for those of you that are looking for that beautiful, almost looks like a finger wave curl, right? Without having to do finger waves. This is going to be your cheat to do the finger wave style. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to split this into two sections. I want to ensure that when I'm curling the hair, especially for a technique like this, that my sections aren't too thick so the heat can penetrate all the way through the hair. I have my thermal protectant that's going to protect the hair as well. So I'm just going to clip this out of the way. Come in with my thermal defense spray. Now remember, when you're doing any type of curling technique or formal technique, I want to ensure that when I am spraying the hair, that I'm always working with the cuticle, right? I have had people that style hair and say, I have a really hard time getting the hair to stay smooth and to look smooth. And some of it comes into the curling. Anytime I spray a product up against the cuticle, I'm roughing that cuticle up and I'm helping it lift up. I want to ensure that all of it stays flat and smooth and shiny. So I'm going to come in with my thermal defense, spraying it all the way from roots to ends, on top and underneath. Always, like I said, working with the cuticle. And then coming in and working that product into the hair. Now I'm going to do this technique 2 times so that way you guys can see it twice in a row. So what you're going to do is I'm going to make sure that is laid flat and really smooth, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in. Now it's up to you what type of iron that you use. I have just a wand iron, and this is a comb that gets fatter at the top, thinner at the bottom. You can use just a basic wand. You can use a Marcel iron. However, if you're going to use a Marcel iron, make sure you lift the tongue up and that you're wrapping your hair around just the barrel of the iron and not where the tongue is clasped, because you're going to create a line of demarcation. So for this technique, I prefer to use a wand because it's a lot easier to control and it looks a lot nicer. So what you're going to do is I'm going to take this hair and I'm going to keep it smooth. Now, it's really important that as you curl, you watch the technique of what my hand and my wrist are doing. Okay, that's very important to the type of curl that we're designing. Like I said, we're going to do a finger wave curl. So this is very, very important. What you're going to do, I want to make sure that you guys can see this, is I'm going to actually smooth that. So I'm going to take that barrel over the hair, okay, and I want to just lightly lay it across to smooth any of those flyaways down. I'm going to turn her just a little bit so that way you guys can see. Okay, so I'm going to lay that barrel down on the hair. My palm is up towards me right now. And like I said, pay attention because this is really, really important. So I'm going to smooth that over. I'm going to lay that palm up. As I go over the barrel of the iron, I'm going to go to my wrist. Palm towards me, come over the barrel and wrist. So I am creating a twist in the hair, okay? And you will see why this is important. I'm gonna let that just sit on the curling iron until I feel that it's warm on the top of the curl. This is why my thermal protectants are really important. Also making sure that my iron is not set at too high of a temperature as well. So now that that's hot, I'm just going to carefully, I'm gonna hand that back to you, slide this off. So I want to keep all that curl intact. And now I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to smash the curl. This is step 2 that is also really, really important. And I'll walk you through the steps of why they're important in just a moment. So I'm going to smash that down and I'm going to let it drop. That gives me that really nice curl. Come through with a wide tooth comb. I'm going to place my hand underneath the curl and I'm simply going to comb through that. And that gives me that beautiful finger wave curl. So like I said, for those of you who love the finger waves, but I don't want to have to take the time to do the gel, set them under the dryer, this is a perfect trick to do it. The set will last forever. I've done this on Justice's hair. She slept on it, woke up on the next morning, and she's like, wow, my curl still looks really good because it was prepped correctly. So to walk you through this a little bit, when you look at this curl, everywhere that I have a wave, remember that I said when you're curling the hair, make sure that I go palm to wrist, because as I'm flipping my hand, I'm actually creating a rotation going around the barrel. So everywhere that I twisted the hair is where that gives me that S shape or C shape pattern. And then by smushing it between my hands, that increases that ridge to give you that perfect finger wave look. So I'm going to do it on the next section of hair so you guys can see that all over again. So again, combing through, I want to make sure everything stays really smooth. If I want this to shift towards the face a little bit, then I'm going to pull this down. So I'm going to comb this hair down. Can you tip down just a second? And go forward towards the face, okay? And then smooth it. Come in with my thermal defense spray to give me heat protection, but also to help give hold to the curls. Spraying with the cuticle on the top and the underneath of the hair. And then smooth that product in. All right, so get that smoothed in there. So now again, coming in with my wand, I'm going to gently, just lightly smooth the top of that. I don't want to press the head, I don't want to burn her, okay? So I just gently want to lay that down. So now remember, I'm going to place this down. I'm going to come over the barrel and I'm going to give it a little twist. Come back, over the barrel, a little twist. Lay it flat and give it a little twist all the way down through the ends, and just hold that on there until you feel it get hot on the inside. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this curling iron technique. Like I said, this technique's great because it's something that you can do behind the chair. If you guys do a lot of weddings and you have those brides that want that finger wave look, that's easy, this is it. I do this to myself all the time as well, and I absolutely love the simplicity of it, but how stunning that it looks at the same time. So know that that's hot. There you go. I'm going to slide that down. I'm going to place that curl in between my hands, like I said, and I'm just simply going to press it and release. Pressing and releasing allows a little bit of that heat to escape, lets that cool, but also presses that twist in to give me that nice C pattern. There's my curls. So now I'm going to take my hand, I'm going to lay it on top. I'm going to take the wide teeth of my comb, and I'm simply going to brush through that and give me that beautiful wave. What do you guys think? Love that technique? Fun, simple, easy. Now if you want to come through and just give it a little bit more definition, which I'm going to do, and then I'm going to show you a couple of styles. My favorite product personally that I use when I'm doing formal wear or when I'm starting to piece through curls is the taffy. And taffy is a great product to use when working with curls because it gives me a lot of slip, a little bit of grip, but it allows me to work with it and not have too much. So nice pearl size amount. And I'm just going to emulsify that product in my hands until it's completely gone. In between my fingers, over my hands, kind of like a glove. So when you guys are working with curls and hair, and I'm going to go through the back side and break it up, it's really, really important that I'm not clawing through the hair, right? when you come through and you start to break down curls, if you're clawing through the hair, it creates friction. Friction creates frizz. So I want to ensure that I keep those curls intact and keep everything beautiful, sleek, and looking nice. So for the finger wave, coming in with a taffy, I just simply want to run that taffy through just to give it a little bit more definition, okay? And also any static, it's very staticky here, it's been very dry. That's gonna help lay that down, give it a lot of shine and a little bit more flexibility to that as well. So I pre-curled the back of Justice's hair, and I'm just gonna come through now with that taffy and break this up. So with Justice's hair, I did the finger wave pattern curl all the way through her whole head of hair. So we're gonna come through with the taffy, break it down now. If I have curls that are too big, then I'm just gonna do what I call slicing. So instead of coming in and raking through it, I'm still gonna keep my hands compact. So what I tell people, which sounds, I don't know, people always laugh, maybe sound tacky, but I always say it's kind of like keeping Barbie hands, right? My 4 fingers are stuck together and I have my thumbs or little lobster claws. So if you remember that and keep that in mind when you're smoothing hair, that's going to ensure that your curls always look good. So as I work through this, keeping those fingers together, and if I need to separate curls, slicing section by section. And you can see how beautiful that wave and that curl look. Super simple, easy technique that looks stunning, and it looks like it took a long time. I set Justice's hair right before the Facebook Live, and the whole set to set her hair like that probably took me about 10 minutes. Most styles, the longest part of the style is pre-curling the hair, and so it's important that the set looks good, right? But that it's not that difficult either. So I'm going to turn Justice this direction, and now that we have this set in, I'm going to hand her a couple tools, and we're going to do a couple quick styles for you guys as well. So I'm going to give you that, and I'm going to give you this, please. So you can take your hand underneath the cape. All right. So now that we have Justice's curls here, I want to show you guys a style, and I have this zoomed in on her because I want to ensure that you guys can see, but we're going to do the first style as a quick slicked back. When you do those beautiful finger waves on the side, most girls want to leave it. This is gorgeous just to leave as is. Sometimes you'll see the girls that slick this back, which is beautiful, put a couple bobby pins through there and leave it. That's gorgeous as well. But I'm going to show you a quick trick just to give a little bit of a decoration on the side of it as well. So I still have the taffy on my hands. You want to ensure that as you're working with curl, now that the head's set, even as I'm styling the hair, I want to make sure that I have something on my hands to work as a barrier. Because when you're doing formal work, if your hands are dry and have nothing as you're working through the hair, it can create static, it can create friction, and it can start to break the curls down. So I added more taffy to my hands, right, as a glove. So as I'm working with the hair, it keeps everything very smooth, clean, and neat. And then I jumped to using the brush through hairspray. And the brush through hairspray is my favorite product to use as I'm styling the hair, because it gives me the mobility to spray the hair, but to still brush through it and work with it. And then I like to set my styles with the Dramatic FX, which we'll do at the very, very end of my styles as well. So what you're gonna do is we're gonna take this first section of hair and we're gonna create knots in the hair. When putting the hair up, a lot of people overthink it. They think, oh, I don't know how to put the hair up. What do I do? How do I get rid of length? How do I secure the hair? So by doing knots, ponytails, braids are a great way to secure the hair. I was trying to see if we have any questions. Thank you for the tip. Thank you for saying something, Nick. So another thing too is when you're doing formal wear or when you're doing a style, I have people say to me that when I'm styling my hair, I have a really hard time hiding my parts. What is the tips and tricks and secrets to hiding a part line in a style? And one thing to keep in mind that when you're working on the hair, you're working on a round shape. So when you're parting the hair, doing formal wear, all your parting should be in a circular shape. So whether it's a full circle, whether it's a half moon, an inverted half moon, that's how you're gonna hide your partings. So sectioning Justice's hair, if you take a look at that, will you tip your head towards the camera? I have a nice half moon shape circular section in the hair. So this way, as I shift this back, that ensures that it's gonna hide 100% of my part lines and that I'm not gonna see them at all, okay? So now that I have that shape, I'm gonna put this over your shoulder. I'm gonna come through and smooth through this. I'm gonna break this into 2 sections. This is my first section. I'm gonna come through with my brush through hairspray. Again, one of my favorite products to use when styling the hair, okay? When working with the product, I wanna make sure that I'm not spraying too close and making it wet. I'm gonna make the hair collapse. And that I'm always, again, spraying with the cuticle. So I'm gonna spray it, glazing it right over the top of my section. Okay, take my fingers and smooth that back. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a little knot, kind of like a little knot braid to the side to keep this very sleek and back. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold this with your left hand or your right hand, depending on what hand you prefer to use. So I'm gonna hold this with my left hand. I'm gonna come in 2 fingers underneath and keep it very close to the head. So 2 fingers underneath. And I'm simply just gonna curl my fingers and rotate. So my fingers are away from the head and rotate towards the head. And then I'm just gonna take that tail and put it between my fingers and pull that through and tight. That gives me that nice kind of nautical knot that lays very flat to the head, but gives a lot of detail as well. I'm gonna pick up that second section that I parted out. And I'm simply going to hook those sections together. Again, coming through with my brush through hairspray, lightly misting my spray over the top. Same thing, 2 fingers underneath, so I'm away from the head. Curl my fingers and towards the head, put the tail through and pull that through. So it just gives you a little bit of that knot technique. I can do this one more time on the end, so we'll just go ahead and do one more section. So that gives you that really beautiful style. Now you have options, right? If I love the way this looks, I don't need to worry about tying this off because it's gonna stay, which is great. So I can lay this across the hair if I want to secure this down and have a little bit of decoration through the top. So if I want to, I could lay this across the hair like this. I could take a bobby pin, open that bobby pin up, roll the tail, and I can take this and weave this into the hair and lay it across top if I want. So I'm going to put it in that way. Then what you would do is come in with a second bobby pin. Here's where my first bobby pin went. And I want to ensure to create an X across that underneath to lock that in place. Okay, so my first bobby pin goes up that way. I place the second bobby pin in going that direction and then lay that across. And then you have a beautiful side swept style as well. What do you guys think? Do you like that? So I'm gonna pop this out. I wanna show you guys several styles that we can do. So I'm gonna do another quick style as well. So hopefully you guys like that slicked back smooth style. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in. I'm gonna turn Justice back around a little bit. Still have my brush through hairspray that I can use. I'm gonna have you hold on to that. I'm gonna add a little bit more taffy to my hands. Squeeze through here. So now this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to do a low style that I can turn either to a half up, half down, or if you want to twist it and put it all up, it's absolutely stunning and beautiful. So again, coming back in with my taffy, a pearl size amount over my hands to keep the hair intact and keep everything smooth. I'm going to emulsify that product over my hands until it's completely clear and dissipated so I can't see it. So now what you're going to do, I'm going to take my wide tooth comb, okay? Anytime that I have curls and I don't want to completely damage them or deplete them, my suggestions are to come through with a wide tooth comb. This way it smooths through the curls, but it also keeps them intact and keeps them nice to work with. So we're going to smooth all of this off to one side, and I am choosing to smooth all the hair over to Justice's thicker side. So my side part is off to the left, and I'm smoothing everything over to the right. And I'm going to just smooth this all right into my hand. Do you mind holding that for me, please? All right. I have that taffy on my hands to help keep everything smooth. So now what you're going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to do a basic fishtail braid. So for those of you who are not familiar with the fishtail, or maybe you haven't mastered the fishtail, I'm going to walk you through the simple steps of how to do a fishtail. I'm going to add a little bit of the brush through hairspray to give me a little bit more control. So what you're going to do is I'm going to split this into two sections. Okay? Split this into two. And I'm going to take hair from the underneath and put it from the outside into the inside of the opposite section. So I'm going to take hair again here. My very first section in this, it comes from underneath to help lock this close to the head. So underneath from this section, and I'm going to place it in the middle on the opposite side. Once I get that in there and I get this locked, now I can come in and I'm just going to go kind of from the underneath outside and place it on the middle. So just do that, alternating back and forth, so from the outside to the inside. I have that taffy in my hands to help keep the hair smooth. If you feel like you're hitting sections, like I said, it's very dry and staticky, where I need a little bit more control, be sure that as you're working with the hair, guys, that you take the time to stop. If I feel like I need more product, come through, add more product. I think a lot of people who get intimidated by doing formal hair, a lot of it is just remembering the foundations, right? Remembering to prep the hair properly so it's smooth, but also as you're styling hair, I need a good foundation to that hair. Product is going to be my best friend for keeping these styles sleek and looking really, really good, okay? Take your time to smooth, take your time to add product, and just really ensure that your partings are also in there correctly. So I'm going to jet through this. So again, the fishtail braid, I'm taking hair from the outside to the inside. Does it matter how big my sections are? Absolutely not. The partings and sectionings of the hair depends on the final look. If I take really fine, baby thin sections, it's going to give me a lot of detail to this at the end. By taking bigger sections, I plan on expanding this out. It's going to give me that look of almost having that big, beautiful, like wavy, curly hair, but secured back. So by doing a little bit bigger sections, it's going to allow me to kind of expand this out a little bit more and give me more body and more volume to this as well. Make sure, again, to keep that smooth. Go from the outside to the inside of the hair. Hopefully you guys all survived the holiday season, right? And you're all gearing up for New Year's. So like I said, with these styles and these little tips and tricks that I'm sharing you, these are great things for you to do on your customers behind the chair. If it's somebody who's doing their hair themselves at home, these are great, easy styles that you can pop in your hair at home as well, right? Fishtail braiding is probably one of the easiest braids. So I tell people who aren't great braiding, that was a tongue twister, right, Justice? For those of you who aren't great braiding, I feel like fishtail is a great way to start. It's 2 strands, taking from the outside, placing on the inside. Quick, it's easy to do as well. So now that I'm finishing up and I'm getting to the bottom, what I'm going to do is just finish this off. And I probably will leave a few of her ends just because you guys get the picture of the fishtail, right? So we'll leave a few of the ends because I really don't mind having them there. Now what I'm going to do is come in with a clear ponytail. So clear ponytail holder, and I'm just going to secure this at the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys one really awesome trick on how to hide that ponytail holder if you don't want to see this. So I have this ponytail holder here, okay? You guys can all see that. For those of you who do a lot of formal wear and you use rubber bands and you say, oh my gosh, how do I hide the rubber bands? For me personally, when I see formal wear hair and there's rubber bands all over the hair, I don't love seeing it. So I like to hide it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a section of hair from that ponytail. I'm going to come in any heat protectant that has a lot of hold. So in this case, since I have the brush through, I'm just going to take that and I'm going to spray it really close to the section of hair. Okay, I want to work my fingers through it, and I'm just simply going to lay this over that rubber band. Okay, can you guys see that? I'm going to move you a little bit closer. So I'm going to lay that flat over that rubber band. Okay, excuse me for ducking right in front of you. My hot tools are right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a flat iron. This is why it's important to have a heat protectant that has a lot of hold, but I'm going to come in with a flat iron now. And I'm simply going to just heat this right over the top. And that holds that in there. Now my rubber band is hidden, right? And I don't see it. One of my favorite tips and tricks. So now what you're gonna do, this is beautiful as is, just left down. I think it's great, it's gorgeous. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come in and expand this. By using the brush through hairspray, and using my taffy, this is going to allow me to expand this shape without it getting frizzy. And also by having the hold of the hairspray, it's also going to give this more of a shell effect. If I didn't have the proper products and the proper foundation into this, when I go to expand this, it would just kind of be, not the word I love to use, but it would be kind of floppy, right? These wouldn't set nice and they would just kind of lay limp. I want them to look more shelled out, have more texture. So I'm just coming in and lifting this out and spreading them a little bit. Again, I could leave this down, spread out. It's absolutely gorgeous. What we're gonna do with Justice's style is, you have that thing full of bobby pins, correct? Is I'm gonna take this, okay, we didn't put any hair tie up here, I just started fishtailing it. So I'm gonna take this and I'm simply going to flip this. I wanna kind of work this so she has a little bit down around her face. Build a little bit of volume up through there, so I'm just gonna give that a little flip. You can go that direction if she wants it to be back a little bit more away from her face. I could flip and go this way. Let's see, which way do I like it? I kind of like it that way. So now I'm going to come in with a large bobby pin. I prefer using the big bobby pins with somebody that has a lot of hair like Justice's because it can hold it. Another key secret when putting hair up, a lot of stylists will say, oh, when I'm doing hair I get really frustrated because I feel like the style slides or it wants to fall out. And I'll tell you a little secret for those of you guys who don't know or maybe didn't think about it. But when you look at a bobby pin, there's this little, I'm gonna put my finger here, like this little hole. So if you open a bobby pin and shove it in the hair, it starts to eject out because it takes on too much hair. So whenever you put a bobby pin in, you wanna make sure that you never, ever, ever open the bobby pin. That this loop is all that that bobby pin can hold. So what you're gonna do, let's see, how do I wanna put this? I think I'm gonna go this way with it. So what I wanna do is I wanna take the bobby pin, I wanna take the long end, and I'm simply going to weave this as if I'm weaving a needle through the hair, okay? And then I'm gonna come in and push that into the style. Only one bobby pin will hold that, okay? Give me another one just so I can show. So again, when I put a bobby pin in, I simply want to come, I want to catch the hair that I want to hold, wiggle it in, okay, tip your head back so you can see, into the style. I want to remember which way is the gravity going to pull the hair. The hair is going to get pulled down from gravity. So I want to make sure that when I lock it so gravity can't pull the hair down. So here, I'm going to shift it and I'm going to hit it here, and that is going to stay secure. It's not going to go anywhere at all. So again, I think this is beautiful. You can leave it down. For those of you guys who love the look of like the looser, bigger chignons, we can start to spread this out a little bit more. Okay, I want to make sure that this stays smooth, so I'm going to come in with a little bit more of that brush through hairspray to help control that. I like to use the can when I'm working with formal styles instead of my hands. The oils from your hands can have a tendency to pull those pieces out. So as I spray the hair, taking the end of a comb or the back of your can will help keep that really smooth. So now we can piece this in here, and she has a beautiful, low, kind of messy chignon. Now Justice has the underneath of her hair shaved. So when I'm putting this bobby pin in, I need to make sure I have hair to hold to. So I'm gonna actually slide one bobby pin up into the style. And because she has nothing here for me to hook it to, I'm actually gonna come in with one more bobby pin. Okay, same thing, not opening it. I'm gonna weave, weave, weave. My one bobby pin's here going up this way. I'm gonna actually lock this one across so I feel it hook, and now they're interlocking behind her hair like that. So what do you guys think? Beautiful style. I can start to kind of piece it and work with it, lift it down a little bit. If there's any pieces that I don't like, I can take a bobby pin and just kind of tuck them, hide them, get rid of them. Sometimes if you wear rings, I took mine off because they catch in the hair when you're doing formal wear. And that is very frustrating, right? So I can open this bobby pin just enough to hook it on that piece of hair that's sticking out, okay? If I don't like it, wrap it and hide that underneath and shift that. So this is kind of one of those styles, super easy to do, looks very elegant, and it looks really nice and clean and beautiful for that New Year's party, or like if you're going to a wedding or you just want your hair up as well. I have a couple more minutes, I think about 5 more minutes if you guys want to hold with me until about 1:45. I'm going to show you one more quick, easy way to put the hair up for Justice's hair. So I'm going to pop these out and I'm going to show you guys just one more trick, because I want you guys to walk away today with 4 good things that you can do for that quick holiday hack, right, for the hair. Pop out that one piece that I put in to hide my rubber band, and then I'm just going to pull this down really quick. This is one thing that I love with using the Lonza products, is that the hair holds really, really, really nice, but it feels good and it's super easy for me to pop down and brush through the hair. I'm going to actually use my Denman brush. I was going to put this in a high ponytail on Justice's head, but let's see, do I have time, do we think? I think we should have time. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys one more technique. I'm gonna turn her, we're gonna put her on a high ponytail, okay? For those of you who struggle putting hair into a high ponytail, I will show you the best tricks for doing that. So first I'm just gonna work on getting that hair up nice and high. Okay. I'm actually gonna shift and I'm gonna hand you the dramatic FX. So when you guys are doing a high ponytail, it's really important that as I'm working with the hair, that you don't start brushing in the middle. A lot of people, their first instinct is just to go right to the middle and work your way out, which actually creates lumps and bumps. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come in with my Dramatic FX, I'm gonna glaze across the top of the hair. I have my Denman brush. You're actually gonna work from the outside of the hair on both sides and work your way to the middle. Okay, here's that. So I'm gonna go outside, working back and forth until I get to the middle top of the hair. And this is the best way to get that hair up high and smooth at the same time. This is a great facelift, right, Justice? Justice is a dancer, so she's used to her hair getting put up very nice and tight and high. Okay, will you hand me one of the bobby pins? Okay, so once I get it high, I'm going to take a rubber band, which I double up in case one breaks, with 2 bobby pins. I'm going to place this in on the side, and then I'm simply going to rotate this and put it back in. So 1 bobby pin on the side, work it around the hair. That keeps that completely smooth and back. And we have about 3 more minutes and we're gonna pop this up. I'll show you how quick and easy this style is. Take this piece of hair because I wanna hide that rubber band. So come in with my spray. This is the one time I'm gonna spray it really close to kind of work as a tape. I'm gonna wrap that hair around the rubber band so I can hide it. Then to hide that tail of that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull you guys really close so you can see this. I'm gonna stick this pin in. I'm gonna place it under her hair. I'm gonna take this hair and work it in here. Of course, my fingers do not want to work with me. So I'm going to pull that in there, and then I'm just going to pull this back out and tuck that hair in there so I don't see it. Okay? All right, last style. This will take me literally 1 minute to do. If you guys know how to do a 3-strand braid, all you're going to do, I'm going to move you guys so you can see, is you're going to do a 3-strand braid. But do not untangle the ends. I want to let the ends tangle inside themselves, okay? So I'm gonna stick my fingers in between, okay? I'm gonna go from the middle, it's gonna come under, that comes out, the middle comes under, out, my ends are knotting into themselves, okay? So let that happen, do not smooth your ends, whatever you do. So middle comes under, middle comes under. When I feel like I cannot go anymore, okay, see that hole right there? I'm just gonna flip her hair up. I'm gonna stick that through. That secures this whole thing in place. And then all I'm gonna do is start to lift and expand this. And now she has a beautiful high ponytail that has a little bit of fun, design, and pizzazz to it as well. What do you guys think? Hopefully you love some of these fun hair hacks, right, that you can use for your New Year's celebration if you have a wedding coming up. I know there's a lot of Christmas parties and holiday parties coming up as well. Just remember that when you're doing hair, foundation matters. Starting with a great shampoo and conditioner. I blow dry Justice's hair with the foundation mousse. You can use the design foam, which is great as well. Using products that are great, brush through hairspray while styling. Coming through at the end with my Dramatic FX that has a little bit more hold to it, and just smoothing all those fine edges out, getting rid of all those flyaway hairs. So here is Justice's beautiful finished hairstyle. You'll turn your head so they can see it. So I want to say thank you so much